Hello everyone, welcome to another session. Today we are going to be looking at grade 12 economics. We are going to be looking at monopoly as a market structure. Let's look at this question. 4.2, study the graph below and answer the questions that follow. So the diagram is showing monopoly, economic loss of a monopoly. What is an economic loss? How do you identify an economic loss? So we start by studying the diagram so that we are in a position to answer the questions. You're going to see that as we study the diagram, we are actually answering maybe 80% of the questions that the examiner would have given us. So in this case, the monopoly is making an economic loss. So what is an economic loss? An economic loss occurs when average cost is greater than average revenue. That means the cost to produce the unit is more than the revenue that we are going to receive for producing that particular unit. That becomes an economic loss. Now, let's see if that is actually the case. So where do we start from? We always start from the profit maximization point or the loss minimizing point, which is letter C in this case. Letter C is our equilibrium point. It's our equilibrium point because this is where MR is equal to MC. So a business maximizes profit or minimize losses when marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. What does that mean in simple terms? It means that this is the point at which the business should produce. This is the point at which the business should produce. So the quantity that the business needs to produce to maximize its profit or to minimize its losses is 500, because this is where marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost, represented by letter C. So the 500 represents the quantity. Let's move on. What about this 40 that we see here? This 40 is the price at which the product is going to be sold at. The 40 is the price at which the product is going to be sold at. How did I come to that conclusion? Let's go to letter B. So this 40 is as a result of letter B here. And letter B is lying on the demand is equal to average revenue curve. Average revenue is actually the same as price. Average revenue is the same as price. So where your average revenue is, that is where the price is. Where your average revenue is, that is where your price is. Let me bring that into perspective. Let's look into this. Let's look into this. I'm going to show you a simple demand schedule. A simple demand schedule. Quantity, price, total revenue, average revenue. Let's look into this. We are trying to establish if indeed price and average revenue are the same. Let's look at price of maybe when the price is 10. Only one quantity is demanded and sold. Okay, so what is our total revenue? Total revenue, remember, it's P times Q. So our total revenue becomes 10 times 1. Then we get a total revenue of 10. Now, how much is our average revenue? Average revenue is total revenue divided by quantity. Total revenue divided by quantity. Our total revenue is 10, our quantity is 1. So it's 10 divided by 1, we get our average revenue of 10. What is average revenue? Remember, average revenue is revenue received per unit sold. Revenue received per unit sold. Let's look into another quantity. Maybe the price goes down to 8. The price goes down to 8. And according to the law of demand, the lower the price, the higher the quantity demanded. So maybe the quantity demanded goes up to 2 because the price has gone down according to the law of demand. What becomes our total revenue? Our total revenue becomes P, which is 8, times Q, which is 2. Then we get 16. So our total revenue becomes 16. And what is our average revenue? Average revenue is total revenue, which is 16, divided by quantity, which is 2. And it gives us an average revenue of 8. So we can conclude without a shadow of doubt that indeed price and average revenue is the same thing. Look into this. So our price is 10. Let's look at our average revenue. Average revenue is also 10. When the price is 8, we also see that average revenue is 8. So that's how I came to the conclusion that 40 is my price, because it's as a result of point B, which is lying on the average revenue curve. So if my average revenue is 40, it also means that my price is 40. If my average revenue is 40, it also means that my price is also 40. Okay, now let's move on to the 50. The 50 becomes our average cost because it's as a result of point A. What is average cost? Average cost is cost per unit produced. So you can see that A is lying on the average cost curve. So this becomes my cost per unit. That becomes my cost per unit. This becomes my cost. So you can actually conclude that indeed this business is making a loss. Why? Because the product is being sold at 40 rands, but it costed us 50 rands to produce. So indeed, this diagram shows an economic loss. Now, let's answer the questions. 4.2.1. The first question says, identify the loss minimizing point or the equilibrium point in the graph above. You don't have to write stories. You don't have to think hard about it. We've already agreed that it's point C, because this is where average revenue and marginal cost are intersecting. So for you to get that 1 mark, all you had to do was to write letter C there. Then you get your 1 mark there. Second question, what is the nature of the product that is sold by a monopoly? A monopoly sells a unique product. What is a unique product? It is a product without any close substitutes. So the answer you were supposed to write here is unique. A monopoly sells a unique product. A monopoly sells a unique product. It is a product that does not have any close substitutes. Okay, 4.2.3. Briefly describe the term natural monopoly. Briefly describe the term natural monopoly. A natural monopoly exists when it is impossible for new competitors to enter the market because of high operational costs or high startup costs. So in other words, the barriers to entry are economic in nature. It's difficult for new competitors to enter the market because of high operational costs or high startup costs. The barriers to entry are economic in nature. If the examiner had asked you about an artificial monopoly, what is an artificial monopoly? An artificial monopoly exists when it is possible for new competitors to enter the market, but the business is protected from competition through the use of patents. A patent being a legal right that protects a business from competition. 4.2.4. Why does a monopoly usually make an economic profit in the long run? What is an economic profit? An economic profit occurs when revenue is greater than cost. When average revenue is greater than average cost, that becomes an economic profit. So the examiner is asking you that, why is it that a monopoly will continue to enjoy economic profit in the long run? Remember, normal perfect competition or perfect competitive businesses, they do not enjoy economic profit in the long run because of freedom to entry. As new businesses enter the market, you'll find out that those businesses may earn normal profit. But in this case, we can see that a monopoly can continue to enjoy economic profit in the long run because of barriers to entry. New businesses cannot enter the market because of barriers to entry. Then another point is, a monopoly is a price setter. It has got the ability to set the price. It has got the ability to manipulate the price so that it continues to enjoy an economic profit. Then the last question is, use the information in the graph above to calculate the economic loss made by the firm. Show all calculations. So we want to show the economic loss that is being made by the monopoly using a calculation. How does a business make a profit or a loss? How does a business make a profit or a loss? It's total revenue minus total cost. Whether you're calculating a profit or you're calculating a loss, the calculation is the same. How much money are we receiving? That is total revenue. How much money are we going to spend? That becomes our total cost. Then you come here, it's total revenue. Remember, total revenue, it's P times Q. How much is our P? Our P, according to the diagram, is 40. 40 times our quantity, it's 500. Minus total cost. Total cost, we are looking at cost per unit multiplied by quantity produced. How much is our cost per unit? Our cost per unit is 50. So our cost per unit is 50 times how much was produced? 500. There we go. Then our total revenue is 40 times 500. It gives us 20,000 minus 50 times 500. It gives us 25,000. Then it's 20 minus 25,000. It gives us negative 5,000 rand. So the monopoly is making a loss of 5,000 rand. There's another easier and shorter method of doing the calculation. You can look at it from a unit point of view. For each unit that we are producing and selling, how much profit or how much loss are we making? So for each unit that we produce, we are selling it at 40 rands and it costed us 50 rands to produce. So each product that we are putting on the market, we are making a loss of 40 minus 50, we are making a loss of negative 10. That is our loss. Each and every product that is on the market, we made a loss of 10 rands. Where's the 10 coming from? I sold the product at 40 rands, but it costed me 50 to produce it. So I'm making a loss of 10 rands per product. But how many units were produced and sold? It's 500. This 500. Then it's negative 10 minus 500. Again, it gives me negative 5,000 rands. So you can see that this was actually a very easy question to maximize your marks. Hope you benefited something today. Looking forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.